So you see the journals. Today, if some judge sneezes in Supreme Court, your platforms carry it. There are so many, oh, this happened in the court. It's just seconds, it is known to everybody in the world. There's so much of young blood there, and there's so much of vacuum and talk. Everybody is got an opportunity, everybody can get a share. Everybody can work. If you work hard, there is space.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Lawyer Podcast. My name is Jenna Krishnan. I'm your host, founder of the Daily Lawyer, and today is yet another interview in our Careers in the Law series. But today we're in Chennai, and we're doing a series with lawyers, luminaries actually, from the Madras High Court. And I'm sitting with my second guest for today, which is Senior Counsel, Mr Rajagopal. Thank you for giving me your time and for coming on the Daily Lawyer Podcast. Mr. Rajagopal is the Senior Counsel of the Madras High Court. He was the Additional Advocate General also of the Madras High Court. He's one of the most popular and successful litigating lawyers of the state and of the High Court. Does a wide variety of commercial litigation across genre on the civil side, not just in Madras but in all other 10 cities within the Tamil Nadu region, within Kerala as well, right?
Yeah.
Kerala as well. So, I don't want to say too much because there's so much of his journey that I would like him to uncover. And with that, welcome to the Daily Lawyer Podcast.
It was so kind of you to give such an introduction. I don't know whether they really deserve it.
I'm sure you do. There's a lot of information about you in the
No, we'll see it
It's not true. It's just not there.
No, that's
it.
It's not true.
Yeah. Like totally absent. So anyway, thank you. And which is the reason why I'm very interested in knowing your journey. And just take us through your journey thus far. I know you come from a family of lawyers, and you have made a family of lawyers as well. So take us from your journey when you started and so far.
See, right from my childhood, I've seen my grandfather, who was also into litigation. Though he started in the criminal side, he landed up as a labor lawyer, advising managements, so many companies in North Madras across East Asia, Shell, all he was advising. So as a child, when you see the books, the book was your addiction. Or as you went out, those days you don't have television, nothing.
Yeah.
Books were the went out. So you tend to see those books and then it interests you. The early age you picked up, I at least imagined myself that I want to become a lawyer. Yeah, make it big, become a lawyer. So from then the journey started. Even when I did my schooling in DAVI Secondary School, Gopalpuram, one of the very prestigious institutions. There, when I had to take my +1, +2, knowing fully well that I'm going to enter into a law school, I had an option to take commerce, accountancy, economics, English, and additional math. I didn't take math because I want to have a life easy, So I just went through that, came out, finished my law. Well, you know that you have to finish it, come out, and started practice. But till then, smooth sail, happy go, very chat. Once you enter into the profession, all dynamics change.
Yes.
You were attached to somebody's office. I didn't realize at that point in time, but I knew it was coming. So the moment when you enter into an office, those days, our Gurukula Vash, whatever you call it, was from morning 7 to night 11.
Oh wow.
At 11 when you leave, they'll send you. So you have to, the more you sit in the office, you get an opportunity. Because in offices, then offices were less. With a particular senior, you will see at least 10 or 12 of them in that office. So when you join the bar and you enter into their office, you are the least preferred or you are just raw junior. Imagine the papers flowing from the steam coming down and landing on your table and giving you an opportunity to do something. It was real, something what you have to prove. That you can't do overnight. So you'll have to spend long hours. Sometime a senior will say, handle this sheet, write notes. Like today, we have a internship culture. We have a lot of youngsters who are coming. I should say all my juniors who are up notes, write everything, sit across the table, talk to you, deliberate with you. Those days we never had that option. Even when you put a notes, you have to just walk in and tell. They will just look at you, and the question of appreciation was there. The appreciation is when they acknowledge and nod their head. Not like what we do today.
Yeah.
We didn't even want to have that kind of acknowledgement. Probably all my contemporaries will agree with me, is we have to spend a lot of time in the office with the senior. So I travel. Then after enrollment, I was with Mr. Lakshman. He was doing a lot of civil work, banking matters, and he had a good quality litigation in High Court, was known in original side. So I got an opportunity to do trial work, did a lot of trial work, went to the civil courts, cross-examined people, do trial work, moved out, had your own office when my brother joined me. So we established the firm Rajagopal. Went on. That was a total different cap what you wear. Till then, you have to be submissive, polite, look at it, yours obediently to the master. Suddenly you transform yourself, you sit as a master, you have some people under you. It's a responsibility, obligation to the client. You have to take over the, anything goes wrong by virtue of any junior's act. You have to take it on your shoulders, it's your burden. You can't blame somebody and escape. What is available there with the senior? It's not there. So it was a total transformation. Okay, God was kind, sailed through the entire thing. 2017, and I was asked to, or I would say I got an opportunity to serve the state as an additional advocate till May 2021, when we put down papers. Until then was it. That is a total different, where you work with bureaucrats, government missionaries, the entire thing, dynamics change. The obligation is something like, whatever you do, you're actually, you're seen through a microscope.
Yes.
The people will have a view on you, they will see everything, the transformation is there. And the working culture is totally different, because government officials come with a file, they have their own opinion, they have their indexing, the law will help them. There might be a transition in law or a change. That change would have resulted in change in stance of the government, to adjust to the policy of the government, not to advise them wrong. It's a total different. I learned that. I have to be very honest. I had a total different experience. Went back something like your days when you were a junior under somebody. Learned a lot there. And I had a little problem there because language was a little issue, because we in a central board education, we drop our second language in 10th.
Okay.
So Tamil being the medium here, again we'll have to, some words, some legal terms which we are not used to. Something like I went back to law school to learn. I enjoyed it and it was a nice experience. After this, designated, you are on office. Now today, again you wear a different cap, because once after my AAG tenure, I didn't go back to the firm, which I resigned.
Now you're
away from the firm. It was little, difficult to go out of the firm. But somewhere you have to create vacuum, then only people will grow. I believe there's so much of young blood, and there's so much of vacuum and talk. Everybody has got an opportunity, everybody can get their share, everybody can work. If you work hard, there is space. So they have all filled in the vacuum, and they're doing, I think, at least to my knowledge, they're doing far better than what I was doing running the firm.
How sweet.
No, that's the truth.
Very kind of you. But tell me, because now your answer has given me a very nice opening to ask you the next question, which is something.
Am I landing myself in trouble?
No. Hopefully not. I don't know. So, you mentioned 3 different roles that you played as a junior, as a owner and a proprietor or a managing partner of a firm, and then as an EAG. And then today, of course, you're in a senior, but we're not touching that. Let's do 1, 2, 3. Now, your experiences, of course, you hit upon them a little bit, were very, very different. But how did you manage the transitions, the experiences, the expectations that come with each role? And then you have to sort of rise up to fill those boots. How did you manage that?
In one word, I can say doctrine of necessity.
Yeah.
This is your profession, this is your bread and butter,
Yeah.
and you have to prove.
Yeah.
There's huge competition. At least today, there is very healthy competition. I find youngsters do far better than many of us because technology is supporting them and they are well versed with the technology. We still come from the old school of thought. Once you take your papers in the reverse of the bundle, you write your notes,
Yes.
and without the notes, you are there in the court, you are handicapped.
Yeah.
So we come from that. To answer that, once you think this is your profession and you start, I don't think anybody will take it lightly. The seriousness comes in. It's something what is like injected into your blood, that this is your profession, you have to perform. The fire in you won't die unless you make compromises. Luckily, guided by my seniors, well-wishers, particularly my parents. So the fire in me till today, I believe it is not there. So whatever I do, I spend almost like even now I spend 12 to 13 hours in the office. I come in
6
early.
days a week.
Even now.
Yeah.
Even now. Because so much is there, the law is changing every day or evolving. There are new enactments. Unless you keep yourself abreast with all these things, how do you compete? How do you edge over the others?
Yeah, you can't.
So you have to.
Yes.
The client is paying you to read. Better do that, no?
Yeah.
Somebody's paying you to read and learn. Take it and do it.
True, very true. And when you speak about your AAG tenure, now most people, at least our audience, would like to know. We have a lot of young students and a lot of young lawyers as part of our audience. And I don't think they really understand. I should not say that they don't, but I'm assuming that even I also don't really understand the contours of what does an additional or any advocate general, any such person post. What do they do, if you have to say?
Simple, to answer it, very simple for public world to understand. The government is your client. You advise the client. Here, if you are going to advise an institution or a client, whatever you say, if he accepts, it's enough. Here, the government, it is ultimately going to hit the public also. So the responsibility is more, number one. Number two, there is a policy which you should always keep in the back of your mind. The acts are in accordance with the policy, or you have to channelize it to do. You get the chance to see a lot of opinions, critical, where I was part of one, I had, insofar as one of the statute which is coming up, I had some opinion to be given, and all this, I was part of it. So I could do that. The entire thing is different. See, you can't simply you walk in and say, should I file the suit now? No, you can just see there is a limitation. Why don't we write, we'll ask, they make a demand, after that we'll do. That will not happen there. The policy will warrant you to do it. Whether you're right in doing, it's all a total different ballgame. But so much of experience, so much of learning is available there. I would say, my advice or when my friends ask, I tell them, at least some point in time, everybody should get an opportunity to get associated, not only the state or central government, because you see the file, your perception varies.
Yeah.
You look at a file in a totally different way.
Yeah. Because you are now looking, your client is not one person. Your client is the interest of that many thousands and lakhs of people that department is possibly catering to, that governmental department is catering to. So your perception about the case is totally different now. And then your balance of favors, the balance of conveniences are tilted that much heavier on one side or the other. Now you also mentioned about when youngsters and technology is really helping them. And we all know that technology is seeping in everywhere, it has to seep in. What is your opinion on the role of technology in the law? Especially after COVID, we've had web hearings, etc. So
I would say, the COVID is something which should not have happened to the world. So much of losses. God was kind. We have all survived post-COVID. I would look at whatever negative, just look at it positive. What did it do? It brought in virtual courts. Today, most of the courts, there are virtual hearings. From the civil that is the city civil courts, magistrate courts, to the Supreme Court.
Mm.
All the courts are virtual hearings. Many of the judges promote this. And sitting in some place in Timbuktu, I am able to handle 3-4 cases in 3-4 states or 3-4 different places. So that is one way of looking at it. It saves the client a big burden, of travel, like going to Delhi, trying to do that, whatever. I wouldn't say that is bad. That is the reality. Many can't afford to do it. Equally, all the enactments are today available digitally.
Yes.
And it's so easy to carry, instead of carrying bags, books. For me, we were finding it difficult. I'm at least traveling twice a week. Every time you just have to beg the airline staff, no, these are bundled, go and 15 kilos extra, I'm sorry, we'll have to put it in, the client is going to pay. All this today, I just carry my iPad. It makes life simple. There are, shortcomings in implementation, but we'll have to live with it. Change in, technology or change in circumstances, all these things, we have to grow with this.
Yeah.
We have to live up to this.
Yeah.
Eventually, you see, this is only going to rule. Why I said juniors have an upper hand is, many of the law schools have one of the subjects as computer science.
Is it?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't.
And I know at least in government law college, there is one course what they have to write, or at least they have to attempt to it, to say about the computers, exposing yourself to the computers. So everybody is today digitally strong.
Yeah.
Finally, when it comes to running the race, probably your experience you can try, but they are so fast. Like a junior, if I tell him, he's able to flip pages like this. For me, still I have to do it, just learning it. Okay, move, drag, drop, it takes some time. For them, they just flip their fingers. So eventually, who succeed?
You think that, the other way of asking this question is to say that how do you think technology has really improved? Of course, in terms of, making it easy for us to access, as clients, or also to access the lawyer that we want to appear for our matter. It's made that much easier. It's also made maybe the burden of carrying so many documents and just sort of carrying one iPad with one pencil around. But what else do you think it has really helped? What, in terms of, say, case law research, for example, is it bringing any sort of uniformity?
See, you are updated. See, how does a lawyer update himself? When we were all as juniors, the number of journals what we buy, you are compelled to read, to update yourself, the change in law, or the new, whatever the new judgments which have come.
Yeah.
So, you see the journals. Today, if some judge sneezes in Supreme Court, your platforms carry it. There are so many, this happened in the court. It's just seconds, it is known to everybody in the world.
Yeah.
And all these judgments, latest, they give you a summary, they give you a gist, weekly round of judgments, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, annually. What used to be digest will come after 6 or 9 months of the year. You get it just like 9 hours or 10 hours after the quarter is over, you are up there, it is available.
Yeah.
So everything is today, it is transforming. Yes, it is a cause for concern that we are losing on paper. That is, unless you write. I come from a very old school where even date, I like to write my notes, be it my iPad or this. I have a notebook next to me. Something goes wrong with the iPad, I need to keep it. So I write down in this, I replicate it out in my iPad. See, those are something which, the best way of learning those days was write and learn. Whatever you read, write. Read, write. That's what they tell. We are coming from the school.
So when they don't listen.
Now who writes? Now it's all
They
dictate.
They have computers in school and they say,
Exactly.
we don't need to learn to write.
No, that too, they don't even use the pen, pencil. They just dictate and it transforms into word and it's everything available.
Yeah.
So this is eventually going to take over. And there are so many, I think many of the lawyers are using this AI for this.
Yeah.
And there are very good AIs. One or two instructing counsels demonstrated and showed. Very good on research on evidence and all those things. It was very good that you asked what it is, who all referred to this document, how it is, and it pinpoint and shows. It's very good.
Yeah, it is. Now, how I was going to ask you also that how do you as a now senior counsel, you're really busy, right? There's only this finite time, but you have to prepare for matters also. You have to keep yourself updated with the law also. You may probably have other pro bono related work that you do for. I know you do a lot of work for temples or pro bono related works, which is something that speaks to your passion also. Now, in this, so many demands upon your time, how do you keep up with the changing law? How do you keep up with it?
No, see,
How do you get the time to read?
I work on Sundays. Sundays I come to my office, very with a skeletal staff are here. So one or two juniors of mine, they come in. We sit here, lock ourselves up, we read. Sundays, I don't give any, unless it's important, I don't meet clients. Not today. Right from the day when I was a partner of the firm. If I'm in town on a Sunday, I'm in office. The first half of Sunday, I'm 101% in office. And that day, I'll be sitting, my table will be full of the week's work, I'll complete it. Number two, today, thanks to the iPads and all these things, your cell phones, everything is, the new, whatever the Supreme Court has said, the other High Court has said, is just on the tap of a button. So when you are just traveling, you tend to see, you have that time, luxury to read during travel. Third, please trust me, these youngsters who have come into the profession are too brilliant, more brilliant than many of us, and they are capable of updating the senior of what is a change and what happened in the other courts. So that borrowed intelligence, what they say, the borrowed knowledge, the juniors who give it to feed it to you. If you have some good interns or juniors, I have to say about the interns, a lot of these law students are coming for internship. You give them a research work. Many of them, at least in my office, whoever has come. A research work is something like, it is not something like a person who's an amateur who has done. Like a professional, they do the research work. And now they get exposed, thanks to many of the law schools. The curriculum is totally changed.
Yes.
It has been a serious education. Like jokingly, my seniors generation, they used to say, depending on your marks, if you have the low level marks, walk into law college, you'll get your admission. That is gone. Today you get 99.9, probably you are in the wait list. Lucky, I didn't have an opportunity to compete with these people.
And also no bar exam, nothing, everything is like happily finished, take your sadhak and go. Now you're right, there's so much more competition and so much more brilliance, and we should keep that. I mean, it's very, very
No, the Clerks question paper I saw once. I had an opportunity because one of my intern was doing, he wanted me to help him on how to frame. I said, I'm totally alien about it, but I also learned it from one or two of the guys who had passed out. And then I shared it with him and I told him, I saw the questionnaire is something like probably given to us, and how many people will cross the benchmark.
Yeah, I had an intern who came who was talking about some like this only CLAT in some practice exam he is doing. So actually he's not an intern, he's a friend's maybe. And he said, Auntie, can you tell me something about Muslim law? I said, hey, I've studied this Muslim law. I don't know what is the answer. So I didn't want to tell him that I did not know the answer. If we did something, it came up with the answer. So the point, but I'm just saying, the level of preparation that they have had before they enter the law school is much, much more different.
Before they enter in the law school, they are exposed to so much of information and they are probably compulsory internship or whatever. An internship, students just don't come in and intern in your office. They do a research work too, and then they apply and they come. Then they follow the procedure. It's something like, I find them really brilliant. It's like, I always tell them, we are breeding competition. And someday they're going to overtake us.
Yeah, that is good. It's good.
Good,
That's what is required, right? So
Darwin's theory, survival of the fittest. They will eventually. To keep, they are the motivation for me. Now I have to fight with them. Okay, like 100 meters, I have to do a sprint with these people. I have to keep myself physically fit and to do it.
Lovely. Now tell me, I want to shift gears a little bit and talk to you about your practice as an arguing counsel. And this is something I would like to know for myself as well. How do you prepare for arguments? What are some of the strategies that you would say if there is somebody listening who is wanting to pursue for Senior Counsel? What would you do? How would you prepare for arguments? What are some negotiation strategies? Some strategies for negotiations across the table.
See, insofar as litigation is concerned, it depends on the facts of the case. The facts should support you. If you're thorough with your facts and the documents are in order and everything is available to the court, you have a smooth sail. You can simply, just go through it and you can apply the law. Tell the facts, the law will automatically fall in place. Some places you might have to apply the law and do it, and it goes on. When you are negotiating thing, there is some give and take. Unless you have a mind to give and take something what is offered, or consider even that option what is suggested to you, that doesn't happen. In the court, it is not so. It is not a bargain. In so far as negotiations, that I'm telling all my interns or the juniors who are coming, we didn't have an opportunity of doing arbitration or that is conciliation, mediation, or negotiation, which is now under the commercial codes mandatory, and many of the legislation make it mandatory. So these kind of conciliations, even in the land acquisition and everything, you can call, sit, offer, like you see CMR acquisitions, it's by private negotiations they are doing. So there, a lot of this deliberations, you have to pros and cons, the necessity, urgency, everything has to be seen. You can't be just take it or go. That can't be done. So the art of negotiation is something what we have to inculcate or build it. In a litigation, the facts will help you develop your case. Both are totally different. You can't apply yardstick here or yardstick here. Probably yes, your oratorial skills or all this.
The presentation will
help.
But otherwise, so what are some of the tips you will give?
Everything is convincingly you have to speak.
Yeah, true. What are some of the tips you will give for somebody on this side and somebody on this side? Preparing for an argument, for example, or preparing for a life as an argument counsel. What are some of the tips you will tell them in a very specifically only for preparing your arguments? Whereas, and then the next part of your question is, what would you say in terms of preparing for a negotiation?
If you want me to put it in a capsule, insofar as litigation is concerned, we'll have to prepare a case based on the facts and documents, get instructions on why it happened. Something like we go time travel, go back in time. Why was this entered into? Why was this letter issued? What is the reason for this documentation in this form? Many of these documents are cut, copy, paste, which they sometimes they do it for a compilation purpose, but that doesn't reflect the entire transaction at all. But can you rely on the other documents? Though there are several judgments which say, entire agreement clause is there, you can't look into. But can I do it? How will I do it? So if I get my facts right, I can put it and apply the law. Insofar as negotiation, mediation or conciliation is concerned, you will have to convincingly tell them the time that is going to be it's going to be consumed in this litigation. What is going to be the loss? One in hand is better than two in a bush is what something which you have to communicate, convincingly tell them. So you should be a real person aggrieved to sit there and tell him the pros and cons, or step into his shoes and say. In a litigation, you only present somebody's.
Very good point. And now for young lawyers, because again we are again in this whole realm of what would you, if there's a young lawyer or a young student watching, what would you tell that person about a career in litigation? What would you want that person to do?
Being a litigating lawyer, all my interns and juniors, whoever I meet, or anybody whom I meet, and tell them, please welcome to litigation. There's so much of vacuum.
Yes.
The breed of litigation lawyers is lying. And people, for whatever reason, the corporate structure of work, they say, I go there, I make this, tend to lose the litigation. Initial period, if you expose yourself into litigation, conducting trials or assisting your senior in trial, or witnessing a trial which is being done, examination, cross-examination, all these things, document marking, mechanically instead of marking every document when it's marked, what is the kind of objection we can give,
yes,
and how materially it will affect the case. So all these things you'll have to do.
Absolutely.
That you can do only longevity in an office. You stay there long, learn this. Now today what is happening is unfortunate compulsion that people come 5 months, 6 months, they tend to move on. I'm not blaming any of the juniors, but opportunity or economically they want to do better, they do it. Litigation will not pay in initial days, trust me. But in the long run, sky's the limit.
Yes, absolutely. And the other thing you mentioned a little bit about why it is important, the understanding of trial and document marking and all admission denial and all of these things that we learn in CPC and all. But the reason why it's important, I think, you can correct me if you have a different view, is everything that you write in a contract, everything that you write in a letter also, the test of that actually is ultimately important. So as a law student and as a young lawyer, if you are exposed to that, then when you are drafting, even if you are not in the litigation side, when you are drafting for your clients, even if you are advising clients, the words that you use, everything, you'll be a lot more careful because you had lived experience. And that you can't get from books. So, and you need to be in a court class who will tell you so many things, and you need to learn from people who, otherwise we have that little snobbish, there's a snobbery in us, that we've studied in good colleges.
No, I think we all, when we joined the bar, most of us have spent the time with the clerk in the registry to learn how it is filed.
Yeah, exactly.
And the process of filing.
Yeah, in fact,
I have at least done.
Yeah, and you are so humbled because they know so much more than you.
100%.
The way you arrange your brief, they will say, at least in Bombay, they say, your matter is before. So you say XYZ. They will say, you cannot arrange it this way. This is not working. And they know the board में ये noting है that so and so, whatever we need to give first week, and what is the procedure? If you have to mention first, you have to give a recipe. All that they know, and what time and all. So you realize that you may have studied in fancy colleges and all that, but lived experience you will learn on the ground, and you have to have. Now, why I'm saying is, I also keep advocating that everybody should have litigation experience.
Now, I worked with some matters in Bombay. The court clerks in Bombay, literally I've seen, they tell which junior should go, which senior to take, and how the brief should be done.
Yeah, everything.
In Madras High Court, it's totally, again, a very orthodox, conventional. They will only tell the boss. Like, go to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, many of the offices, no offense meant, they don't have a full-time clerk. You go to the High Court, you can find a clerk to file this today, and they'll do it, which you can't find in these places.
Yeah, no. A court clerk is very integral to a litigation office, actually.
100%.
And they, once they're attached, typically I've seen that they are attached to that litigation office for years and years and years.
No, that's what the court clerk is, something like your spouse who remains willing or unwilling, you have to live up with him.
Yeah.
Like my man Friday, my clerk who's transformed into everything what he is today. I call him a man Friday. That guy is my clerk. He knows far better what you will do, how the matter is going to be presented, which junior has to take, what books to come. You rub him on the wrong side and you will feel it in the court.
Yeah, I know. It's true. And they will keep the bare act ready every time.
Yeah, that's what they do.
In the line now, as if it's a month-again matter, properly it will be kept. Like negotiable instrument will be kept, procedure.
No, I am going one step forward. There are so many clerks I have seen are so well trained, and I can tell my clerk also. They know that when I'm going to present this case, I will refer to this, next I will refer to this, and he would have kept it in that order. The judgments also. So he is able to understand what it is.
Yeah. And
and trust me, they might have been dropouts in college or in school. They're too brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
By the experience.
By experience. And all this you only learn in the litigation office.
Yeah.
So this, every law student.
Yeah, I'd also like to tell you something. Since you browsed on this. See, while dealing with litigation, we see so many variety of documents. A standard clause in document A and document B, the interpretation might vary. In the sense, this with your pre-contract correspondence and post-contract correspondence might become insignificant. This, in light of this, will become significant.
Yes.
So you have to be on your facts. So you get all these things. Once it gets into your jukebox, which I always tell, gets into it, when you are reading, when you are asked to draft a contract or a pleading, inadvertently that you vomit it out and you put it, your pleadings will contain it. It's something like I always say, some judge writes a judgment. There are some catchy lines or paragraphs which get stuck to your head. Whether you like it or not, in your next draft, you vomit it. Infringement of copyright. It's right we borrowed and put it.
No.
So I'm very careful. I always say, quote, unquote, I put it.
True. Oh, this is getting inspired.
That is when I was drafting.
Yeah.
Today I see many of these drafts are really very nice. And that too, those days we didn't have synopsis. Today's synopsis is your case.
Yeah. True.
Synopsis is your case.
Yeah.
Because they read the synopsis, list of dates,
everything
and the question of law, and thereafter only they go back to the papers.
Because those 6 pages should ideally tell you everything.
Exactly.
And so I have only 2 more questions to close out this part. One is, what qualities do you believe in a young lawyer are essential for success in this profession, especially on the litigation side? Or what should we develop?
See, I can list out many, but the very important thing which I will tell, sincerity. Whether rain or shine, he has to be on time to the office. It's like a military school, 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning you come, you are there till 7 o'clock, spend time on your desk. 100% will take you to great heights. Get an opportunity, use that opportunity well, do the work, perform. Trust me that you will have the recognition. You don't need to be who's who. Once you get that opportunity, you use that opportunity and you perform. Your recognition is granted. Then there's nothing other than hard work.
Yeah.
Luck, I don't believe in. Okay, it plays some small, very minuscule role in this, but that also matters. But it's very minuscule. But hard work, sincerity, dedication, and being present in the office, 100% will take you to great heights.
I have nothing more to even ask one follow-up because it is a totally complete answer. My last question, at least in this section, is what do you think? It's a very broad-ended and open-ended question, so you can answer it whichever way you want. But what do you think are some of the problems that are confronting our judiciary today? Number one, first part. The second part is from a solution-oriented angle only we are discussing this question. And what can we do? Each one of us in our little small capacities to fill in the gaps.
See, the easy, everybody puts a blame as pendency in litigation.
Yeah.
Also, pendency is not attributable to judiciary or lawyers. See, a client comes in. You tell a client, I think there is a promissory note you made a borrowing. When are you going to pay? He tells you 6 months, 1 year. You go back and tell the other side, he'll pay in 1 year. Nobody takes it. So the lawyer plans to litigate it for 2 years. Sometimes he's successful in litigating for 10 years. Who's to blame? Who's to be blamed for this pendency? Whether the lawyer, the court, or the client. I would say the lawyer, he should have used negotiation skills to do it. The client, who didn't want to do it at that point in time. The courts, yes, there are priority matters where day in and day out we see the courts are having so much of priority on litigations where they have to attend to it.
High stakes.
In spite of, not high stakes, I won't say high stakes.
No, when I meant high stakes, I meant that there is a real need.
In fundamental rights, part 3.
So many.
The part 3
Could
is
be
somewhere infringed.
Yeah.
Somewhere there's some violation of fundamental rights, some infringement, some urgency, exigency, something has to be done.
Yes.
These get priority.
Of course.
These get priority. Therefore, you can't blame the system. The only thing what we can do is, I always tell, and at least to a maximum I follow, is if there is a date fixed for hearing, on that date just do it off.
Yeah.
Sometimes even people who follow this are not able to do it for one reason, because the matter doesn't reach.
Yeah.
The next date is not a date which is convenient to you. You are in a very embarrassing position to go and ask. Again, time. Many courts give, some courts don't. When it's not there, it becomes a big, botheration. And today's world, the client is not going to accept you say, I'm not available. You're supposed to be available. That is for the original practicing lawyers. For us, I can simply say, boss, I'm not available today, find another lawyer. But what happens is that you have spent so much considerable time with the litigation papers and you've discussed it with the advocate on record. The advocate on record, and sometimes the clients also attend the conference. You're geared up to present it and do that. Sometimes it doesn't reach, it gets rescheduled, notified. Many of the judges accommodate and give the notified date as to suit the legal parties. Sometimes something go wrong. That time we are stuck. So we can't,
So you're saying that one of the things we can do is keep to your dates. Don't unnecessarily take adjournments.
Finish the matter on the day when it is listed, preferably. Take a convenient date so that you finish it on the day. So that will reduce pendency.
And you're also saying that when we're discussing pendency, so all this, there are three angles to a triangle. So there is a court, there is advocates, and there are clients. And all of us.
See, today's judges, most of them, I would say, why most, all of them are prepared to sit, late hours beyond the scheduled time and they hear matters. So you can't blame them.
No, not at all.
See,
I feel judges work very, very hard. Very hard.
And when you say that whether the lawyers deserve a vacation, it's something like, unless you have it, you'll be wild elephants at the end of the day.
I think we had this conversation offline, about vacation. It's a bit of a touchy topic, because even with my own family, there are these things. Why if our doctors don't need, X person doesn't need, whatever, why only lawyers need a vacation? So it's a bit of a touchy topic. But
let's not get into that controversy.
My house only I get into controversy. So forget YouTube. And that kind of is a good way of us closing the main part of the podcast. In the last part of the podcast, I will for myself. Because I love getting the answers. And it's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I ask you 5 of something, 4 of something, 3 of something. So, and these are typically shorter answers. So, it's not rapid fire, it's just shorter answers. So now 5 productivity tips that you said.
Spend time by staying in your office, get all the work done. Use technology well. Because 2 years out and you can do it. Journals, keep yourself updated with all the change in law and circumstances and everything. So update yourself with your journals, reading. So that is far better. You owe duty to your colleagues in the office and responsibility to do it. Punctuality and sincerity, little with this, I think you can excel.
True. 4 books that you read. It could be anything. It need not be law books. 4 books.
No, I can tell because it's about the law. I think I have 2 of them here. If you see Norman Cricket, the life of Lord Cricket. This is one book I think somebody should read at least once. And second, this book was not available. I think now they have come with a reprint. This is also Norton biography. Alkibala's now Beat the People. That is also a very nice book. And Eastern Book has published the life journey of the
biographies of legal luminaries.
I think I'm not the title, not getting biographies of legal luminaries or something. Which is a very good read. These motivate youngsters. At this stage, you need motivation for the youngsters. And if these books could give.
True. Now this is again a question you may tell me that listen, I have already answered, so sorry, answer again. But it is 3 tips that you would give young law students or lawyers. Little different to try. What do you do?
Stay long in your own. That is in the sense, whichever firm you get, you choose to, or any office you join. Stay long. The sense it's not that daily working hours. I'm talking about longevity in that office. The longer you stay in that office, you get exposed to variety of work because it don't look nice for me every time to tell you, but we belong to the little older school. I could always say that this young generation. Those days, if you take in the original set costumes, there were 10 or 15 officers who would be pitching the war, fighting against each other. They will have 10, 15 juniors in their office. So multi-variety work is there. So they'll be doing a banking work. Those days banking credible was not, the bank suits were here. The pecuniary jurisdiction of High Court was 1 lakh. Then it went to 10 lakhs, now a crore. Banking jurisdiction is gone, company jurisdiction is gone. Insolvency jurisdiction is vanished. Admiralty jurisdiction, hardly we find any admiralty cases these days. Forced tribunal, everything, whatever, all tribunal which have been coming up. So everything goes out. For you to do, if you are going to practice in NCLT, that is National Company Law Tribunal, half day work is gone there.
Yeah.
Come back and do a trial work. Only the second half you can do.
Yeah.
So you better, long if you stay, you will get exposed to all this.
Yeah.
So that future you can take it forward, because future is only in their hands.
Yeah.
So it is for them.
Yeah.
I think that is the best. Two, the one thing which I repeatedly tell and which I followed, because my father told me, take care of the office. An office will take care of you. This is like a temple to me. I stay long hours. So it should be more comfortable. Also a place where environment friendly, come and sit and do it. Do only your office work.
Is there a third thing you want to add? Can I add for you?
Sincerely.
Sincerity, yes. One thing though I do want to say is about punctuality. And finally, that is my only complaint about yours.
I would have really wanted to say that, but today what happens is punctuality is one statement what we simply blame the juniors. I find I tell my office, even now, though I'm not a filing office, I don't file. 1 or 2 litigations they file because the certificate of practice rules require number of colors to be filed, so they maintain. They carry work out. If I tell them to give me a list of dates to prepare, I get a mail at night 2 o'clock. I go to bed late. So when the morning when I get up early, I see the mail is there at night 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. I don't know what time they sleep. And they are not able to balance that sleep hours. So they tend to come late. It's nothing like that they go out, have fun, go to the beach or something. But their working culture is totally different. That is why I'm saying, in the office, finish your work on the table, leave it on the table and go back.
Don't know about that. Because
that will save, that will result in punctuality.
no, punctuality, I have said this agreement to you only because I think it's a value. You can sleep for 2 hours and then also
Day in and day out is not
Day in and day
difficult.
out, yes.
It is difficult.
It is difficult, I'm not denying. Then somewhere we have to either get somebody else who can balance our workload or something like that. There needs to be a bit bigger solution for that. So, but anyway, that was the only thing that I would have added. 2 life lessons that you have learned in your life so far, like in your lived experience. Need not be long.
2 life lessons, very easy to tell. See, this is one place where we are fighting. It's everybody's bread and butter we are doing. Please don't get bogged down or don't fall, because there is so much of jealousy or something against you. Continue with it. Discharge your duties in whichever way you want. 101% success rate for sure. Put your hard work, 100% success rate. 2, you owe a responsibility to the society. That responsibility, please don't compromise. Like your brothers and sisters in the office, with your colleagues, responsibility to this. It's that nothing wrong, telling that a good friend of mine won a case today. Bad case today, he lost it. We take it too personal and take it to the corridors. That results in so much of, the one small example in the profession. Equally, a neighbor, everybody today tolerance level is reduced. Just a spark is enough. So I think
Leads to other life lessons. And
I have at least I don't know them, but I had a well-wisher who told me, so I'm following it.
Yeah. And on that note, a well-wisher who told me, what is the one best piece of advice you receive?
Don't fall, run.
Don't fall.
You will reach the goal.
Don't fall, keep coming.
There were so many situations where in your life, in your profession, you will come with obstacles. So many things happen. Everybody will have it. At that time, there are some encouraging words. I was so fortunate to have. They said, no, come on. This hurdle is to improvise, increase your strength, run.
Lovely. So this is a beautiful note for us to conclude the podcast. Thank you so much for giving me your time today and your wisdom and all the things that you have so generously shared with us. Thank you. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. And this, once you told me that, when the conversation you said this is going to be for the juniors, I was so thrilled because there's nothing to, encourage them. I really tell them there is so much of vacuum on the top. Trust me, you can. It's like a merry-go-round. When you are in the outer ring, when the ring, the circulation is, there, what happens is you try to spill out or jump.
Yeah.
Once you go close to the nucleus or the center pole, you are safe. A few years, you push it.
Yeah.
So do that.
Yeah. But initially, it's very long and hard and grunt work and oh my god.
Today it is not so.
Yeah.
Today it is not so. I disagree with you. There's so much of exposure, so much of work. You see the entire thing, and today's world, they should be blessed because every enactment is new.
Yeah.
Be it the criminal laws, be it your Companies Act, everything is new. They are going to read it, I am going to read it. Their reading will be more sincere, dedicated because they are reading for the first time. You have already know something and you try to do it, and you are only where you edge over is the interpretation and you are standing in one. Therefore, all of us are equal.
Lovely.
So let us run the race now.
Yeah, lovely. Very nice.
Please let me feel young with this.
No, you are very young. So, also very young.
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Thank you.